Are you thinking about making a move to Colorado? Well, today, this video is going to get into the step-by-step guide of how to move to Colorado, how to relocate to Colorado from start to finish. This video is built for people that want to move to Colorado without the costly mistakes. And truly, we are going to get into the step-by-step guide through the entire process, whether you're just now thinking about moving to Colorado or you want to make the move in 3 months, or you're thinking about making it in a couple years, this video is going to be perfect for you. Along the way, you'll see some moments where people usually wish that they had expert help, and that's where I step in. Very happy to be a resource as I used to be in your shoes. Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Ratliff, and this is Moving to Colorado, and this channel is truly meant for you if you are somebody that is thinking about relocating to Colorado, if you are set and you are ready to make the move, or if you're somebody that doesn't really know if Colorado is the right fit for you and you're trying to do a little bit of discovery. And again, I am also a realtor. So if you're somebody that needs help actually moving here and needs help finding a place for you to actually settle into once you're actually in the state, then reach out to me. I'll put all of my information up on the screen right here. And then also make sure that you hit that bell, hit subscribe, hit like so that you can stay up to date every single time that I post another video, so that you can just really stay in the know. There are things that are changing constantly in Colorado, and you really want to make sure that you are fully educated and know that it's going to be a great fit for you before you make the move, so that you don't get here, regret your decision, and then end up having to spend more time, more money going back home. Okay, we are diving right in. So the number one step is that you need to get clear on exactly why you are moving to Colorado. Before you start looking at cities, homes, and prices that are attached to those cities and homes, you need clarity on your actual reason for moving. You need to ask yourself questions like, are you moving for jobs or remote work? Do you want mountain access, city life, suburbs, or maybe a little bit of all three? Are schools, walkability, or nightlife important to you? Or again, are all three important to you? And is this going to be a short-term move or one that you want to have long-term roots in? Colorado is definitely not a one-size-fits-all, and the wrong city can feel expensive, crowded, or completely disconnected with the type of life that you want to lead. So we really want to figure out what city and what type of lifestyle is going to be perfect for you, and we're going to figure that out by asking and answering these questions. One of my pro tips is that I highly recommend you write down your 5 non-negotiables when it comes to things like commute time, budget, schools, the size, lifestyle, and the things that you want to have accessibility to, location, things like that. Make sure that you are really writing down what those non-negotiables are, and then also factor in some of those negotiables. What are you willing to settle on, and what are you willing to not settle on when it comes to the place that you want to live in Colorado? All right, so the second step on our relocation guide to Colorado is that you want to understand Colorado's geography and the different regions. The reason that this matters is that Colorado lifestyles vary dramatically by the location. The major Front Range areas that most movers consider are the Denver metro because it's urban, walkable, fast-paced, and then a lot of people consider the North metro, which includes Westminster, Broomfield, places like Thornton, North Glen, Federal Heights, because it's very suburban, very commuter friendly, very family friendly. And then the West Metro, Arvada, Wheat Ridge, and places like Lakewood and Golden, it has incredible mountain access and charm. And then Boulder County, which includes Boulder, Louisville, Lafayette, Superior, and Longmont, are very, very outdoor focused, but they do have a higher cost. So if you are somebody that loves the outdoors, then you definitely want to lean on places that are closer to the west side of the state, because that's going to get you closer to the mountains. Whereas if you're looking for certain areas for work or to commute to the airport or different things like that, then you're going to want to consider a completely different area. But if you're looking for certain types of weather, or if you want to be 15 minutes from hiking and biking trails, then the geography and the different regions and the different areas of the state are very, very important for you to consider. And if you are looking for help figuring out what regions, what areas, neighborhoods, cities are going to be perfect for you based on the type of life that you're trying to lead here in Colorado, reach out. That's what I do. And a quick 15-minute call can really get you going in the right direction so that you save a lot of time, you save a lot of energy, and you don't get burnt out on this experience. And you can really start looking at all of the areas that are going to be a perfect fit for you. And then we can really narrow it down from there. Okay, step number 3, and this is the step where most people get it wrong, mess up, and actually have to go back home, and it ends up costing them thousands of dollars. And that's that you need to set a realistic budget. You need to really figure out, are you going to be buying a home in Colorado or are you going to be renting a home in Colorado? What area you want to be, what type of job you're going to have, how much you're going to be making at that job, how much the cost of living is going to be compared to what you're going to be bringing in, the cost of groceries, the cost of utilities. And you also need to factor in what the cost of the lifestyle that you want to lead is, because you can come here and you can make 2 times as much, 3 times as much, but if the cost of living is 3 times as much or 4 times as much, you're not going to have any lifestyle other than just working to provide a roof over your head. And that is the worst thing that you can do in Colorado, because you're going to start saving up money for you to leave the state because there's no lifestyle if you can't afford it. So something that a lot of people get wrong, and they end up going back home to where they come from and it ends up costing them a ton of money, is that they do not set realistic budgets. So make sure that you're doing the research, make sure that you understand the difference in cost of living, and that you are well prepared for the most likely increase in cost that you are going to be facing when you move to Colorado. If you're coming from somewhere like New York, Oregon, even places in Arizona, California, of course, then you might see that this is very comparable. It might even be more affordable. But if you are coming from a southern state like I did, if you're coming from a state with less population and just less money, really get yourself ready, because it's going to cost a lot more for you to live in Colorado. You want to set yourself up for success. You want to make sure that you're thriving in Colorado, not just surviving. I also want to mention that part of having a agent that's boots on the ground here in Colorado that is helping guide you to different areas that are going to be a match for you is that it matters so much, the breakdown of fees as well. So when you are purchasing a home, you need to be considering the property taxes, HOA dues, utilities, the cost of insurance. There's different places where hailstorms are more prevalent and you're going to have more of a higher cost for insurance. There's also places where there's going to be more of a fire risk. And so you need to know if the home in the area that you want to live is going to be associated with higher costs when it comes to insurance. And online estimates do not reflect neighborhood differences. And so it's really important to talk to somebody that understands these local differences, because it really matters when it comes down to your dollar that you're spending every single month. And if you want an accurate budget and you really want to understand how far your money goes in different areas and different rental units and also different housing purchases, how much home you can get in different areas, then definitely reach out. That's what I'm here for. And I can give you a full scope, full picture understanding of what you're going to be paying every single month and where those dollars are going if you're living in different areas. Okay, step 4 is that you need to decide, are you buying immediately or are you going to start renting? This is why this is important. So there is truly not a universal right answer, and your specific situation is going to determine the answer to this question. But renting first usually makes sense if you're unfamiliar with the area, you want flexibility, and you're relocating very quickly for work. But buying first actually makes sense if you're long-term focused, if the inventory is tight, and if you want to lock in housing costs. And I will also say that while Colorado is a destination market and it's highly competitive, right now we are in a significant buyer's market. So if you are buying a home in Colorado, you have tons of power in negotiation, and we're seeing closing costs being paid, we're seeing concessions being offered for rate buy downs, and we're really seeing different strategies and different ways that we can manipulate numbers so that you're getting the best deal possible. And right now we have a lot of homes that are for sale that are sitting on the market, and so sellers are really happy to get offers in hand and are really happy to negotiate to fair terms, and oftentimes they're highly favorable for our buyers. So if you're somebody that is on the fence and doesn't really understand if you should be renting or if you should be buying, or maybe you should be renting for 2 months and then you're buying, definitely reach out. I'm happy to help with that, and also happy to get you over with a lender so that you understand exactly what you can purchase for. And if there's anything that is preventing you from purchasing, we really want to hit that now and address it now so that you can start working on that, so that when you're ready to purchase, everything is lined up. We have all of our ducks in a row, and there's nothing that's going to prevent you from purchasing your home in Colorado. Step 5, the fun part, is that we are going to narrow down the cities and the neighborhoods that you should be focusing on. Once your goals and budget is dialed in, that's when we get to the fun part and we start focusing on the different neighborhoods, cities, and areas that you should be really focusing on based on the type of life and lifestyle that you want to lead when you move to Colorado. There are a lot of things that people don't really consider when narrowing down the perfect city or neighborhood that is going to be right for them. And some of these things include that often two neighborhoods in the same city can fit some completely different lifestyles that people want to lead. And so there's one neighborhood in Westminster that could be an absolute fit for you, whereas another neighborhood could be an absolute no for you. And so it's really important, it's really crucial that we understand who you are and the type of lifestyle, the type of life that you want to lead when you get to Colorado, so that we can match that up with the type of neighborhoods and the cities that are going to fit that. Another thing that people don't really consider is that school boundaries are going to significantly affect real estate prices. So Boulder Valley School District is going to have a significantly higher purchase price associated with the properties that are located within that boundary than places like Adams 12. And that just is what it is. It is something that you really want to make sure that you are aware of in Colorado, especially if you have little ones, because we also are able to choice kids into the schools that you want them to go to. As long as you can provide the transportation and you can get them there, they can go to the schools that you want them to go to, regardless of where you live. And while this is one of the most fun steps that you are going to do when relocating to Colorado, it's something that you really want to make sure that you dial in and you narrow down and that you're sure of, because the worst thing is that you go under contract on a property, or you feel like you've done enough research and so you narrow in on an area that ends up not being the right place for you to be a month before you're supposed to get here, or after you're already under contract on a property. So it's really important that you reach out for help. That's what I'm here for, so that we can really dial in and get you matched with the right cities and the right neighborhoods that are going to support you in the life that you want to lead here. Right, so step 6, and this part is absolutely crucial if you plan on buying a home here, is that you need to understand the Colorado real estate market, or you need to be working with somebody that does. And truly, even if you're working with an agent, a realtor that is well versed in what is going on in the market here, it's also very helpful for you to understand what's going on yourself, so that you both can be working as a team to get you the best deal possible. So some things for you to really consider when entering the market in any state is that you need to understand, is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market here? And while the majority of the state in Colorado, and actually most of the country, is in a buyer's market, there's certain pockets in, I would assume, every state, but specifically in Colorado, there are certain pockets in certain neighborhoods that are keeping their value and are actually in an extreme selling market. So we actually just had a property in Broomfield that was on the market for 2 days. We did an open house and there was 8 offers that came through and it went over asking. So extreme sellers market in that neighborhood. It's called the Broadlands, and while we have that significant traction and activity over in areas like that, there's also places in Denver that I had a listing that was on the market for over 100 days. So, and it was also priced competitively. So it's really important to note that there are going to be, while the majority of the state is in a buyer's market, there are certain neighborhoods that you really need to be aware of. Is this a buyer's market or is it a seller's market here? Because that makes all the difference when you're making an offer. You also need to understand what is it currently taking to get an offer accepted. What kind of terms are sellers accepting? What kind of terms are they wanting to see? Are we doing a lot of post-closing occupancy agreements? Are we waiving contingencies? What does it look like? And again, we are in a buyer's market, and so we're seeing incredible concessions being given, and we're able to buy down the rate with that. We're seeing closing costs being paid for, and that again is why it's important for you to work with a knowledgeable agent, because we're able to negotiate that for you. But just know that if you're entering the market right now, December 2025 in Colorado, you have all of the power on your side. You have all of the power when it comes to negotiations, and we're really able to get you incredible deals when it comes to concessions being paid, closing costs being paid, and even lowered purchase price. So if you have questions on that, if you have questions about the market, if you really want help figuring out which areas are in a buyer or seller's market, or if you have more questions about what that even means, definitely reach out. I'm here to be a resource. Step 7 is that you want to prepare your financing before you start shopping. A one-liner for this, just one to drive it home, is that you don't want to start shopping, fall in love with properties, fall in love with an area, fall in love with a neighborhood, and then once you run all of the numbers and we get all of the documentation submitted to lending, you figure out that you are pre-approved for a certain amount, and even with interest rate buy downs and different manipulations of the numbers that are legal that we're able to do, that I'm happy to teach you on, we're still not able to get you where you want to be. So I highly recommend reaching out to the lender, and I'm definitely happy to get you in touch with my rock star lender to make sure that you are where you need to be, and that we can really attach the neighborhood and area that is meant for you based on that price point. Because the worst thing is that you fall in love with an area that you can't afford, and that just, it kind of taints the entire experience. And so it's really important that you understand the monthly payment, the property taxes, HOA, everything that you're looking at, so that we can really send you the cities, the neighborhoods, the homes that are a match for you, instead of ones that are going to be out of the budget. I also want to mention that your approval should not equal the max of your budget. You should not be moving to Colorado at the tip top of your housing budget, because we really want to make sure that we have money left over for those luxuries and for the lifestyle that you want to lead. And so truly, when you're thinking about purchasing a home or even renting a home in Colorado, an apartment, condo, single family home, whatever that looks like, really make sure that you are allocating enough money on the side so that you can pay for the necessities and so that you can pay for the lifestyle that you want on top of your housing budget. We don't want you to be house poor. Step 8, and make sure you do not underestimate this step, is that you want to start planning your move logistics. And what this means is that you need to start considering the best time of year to move. Snow definitely matters in Colorado. Temporary housing. Are you going to be renting a home before you actually purchase? Storage options. What does it look like? Are you going to get movers? Are you going to get a U-Haul? Do you need a pod? What does that look like? And what type of finances do you need to pay for those types of services? And then vehicle considerations. If you right now have a front wheel drive vehicle, that might work. But if you have a rear wheel drive vehicle, you need to get a 4-wheel drive vehicle, or you need to get an all-wheel drive vehicle. You need to get a Subaru. It's Colorado. We're going to have a lot of snow, a lot of ice. You need to be protected on the roads, and a rear wheel vehicle is not going to protect you. So really make sure that you are considering all these factors, because it's highly important, and it truly helps determine the success of your move, and if it's going to be one that's enjoyable and rewarding, or if you're going to be stressed out because you're having these issues pop up left and right. Step 9, if you're buying a home, is home search, showings, and offers. And I will say that some of this applies even if you are getting a rental unit, because truly, whether it's renting or housing, the best houses and the best rental units are not going to last long. So you need to expect limited showing windows, you need to expect quick decision timelines, and you need to expect strategic offer terms. And it's really critical that you have somebody local that is able to take you in a virtual showing if that's what needs to happen, or is able to set aside time in their schedule to see a property with you if you are going to be flying in, or is able to present you all of the units that are available that are going to fit your budget. So when it comes to the home search and showings and making an offer, you don't have to feel pressured, and that's really why we're going to have a consultation beforehand, and we're going to have a conversation about what the process looks like and really get you set up for success with the lender and make sure that you understand every single moving part so that you do feel confident and you do feel in control. But it is going to be a relatively quick moving process, because if you do find the home that is perfect for you and it's only been on the market for one day and it's at a great price, the chances are that there's going to be a lot of other buyers that are seeing that great price and that it's checking all of those boxes as well. So we just want to make sure that you are primed and prepared, educated, so that you can make a move as quick as possible and get an offer in hand to the seller with an acceptance deadline that is going to expire in 24 hours so that we can get an answer. And if it's a yes or a no, that way we know how to move forward and we can continue going, or we can go under contract and start to get the earnest money in hand. So it definitely matters. When we get to this point, you want to make sure that you're working with somebody that's local, somebody that can really help guide you through the process in the event that you're not going to be able to be actually in the state when you're going under contract on a home. Step 10 is the under contract inspection and appraisal process once the offer actually gets accepted. This part is crucial as well, because you really want to make sure that you are educated on the different parts of the process so that it doesn't feel scary, it doesn't feel like you're being pressured. But we do want to make sure that we are being very competitive in inspection dates and deadlines. And so we will likely get the inspection done very quickly so that you are able to move forward, or you're able to ask for concessions or for things to be fixed, or you're able to say, hey, this property has way too many issues, I do not want to purchase, and you're able to get back into the market to be able to find a home that is perfect for you. And the seller is actually able to go back on market and be able to find the right buyer for them as well. So it's great for everybody involved for us to make a decision as soon as possible. So I have incredible inspector partners, so we will work with them to get an inspection done. You're more than welcome to be there for the inspection, but that is something that I am happy to attend and run for you as well. If you're not able to be present, we can also FaceTime, and my inspector is more than happy to go over any and all questions along with the report as well. I always recommend that you get a radon test, you get a sewer scope test, and the general inspection in Colorado, just so that you really are covered and that you understand everything that's going on with the home that you're purchasing. And then after we move forward with the inspection resolution, we're going to have title working in the background, and we're also going to have the lender order the appraisal. And the appraiser is going to go to the house. If you have an FHA loan, there might be certain stipulations that we usually are already handling through the resolution through inspection, so that we're not having to have that appraiser out more than one time. But if there's any issues that are going to stop up the loan, they're going to flag those and we're going to get those conditions met. But if you have something like a conventional loan, then we are going to either get a yes, it appraises, and you're walking into equity, or no, it doesn't appraise. And then at that point, we have the opportunity to go back to the seller and say, hey, we're not willing to pay for a property that's not worth what we were initially willing to pay for it. And so then we will renegotiate. Keep in mind that the Colorado contract is very buyer friendly as long as you know how to correctly navigate the dates and deadlines. And that's what I am here for. I'm really here to protect your earnest money and make sure that you are protected by the dates and deadlines, and make sure that if for any reason you are wanting to get out of this contract, that we are protected by the dates and deadlines, and that you are able to legally receive your earnest money. So definitely reach out. This is a big process, and it's something that you should not be doing alone, especially if you are not present in the state of Colorado when you're buying a property in the state. Step 11 is that we're going to get the utilities set up, the insurance set up, and then we're going to have the final walkthrough. And again, if this is not something that you're able to attend, one of my services is that I do attend the final walkthrough, and I'm very happy to FaceTime with you so that you are assured that the condition of the property is in the condition that you agreed to purchase it in, and that all of the items that we agreed to fix on the inspection resolution have been done up to your satisfaction. So final walkthrough is truly a big piece, and right after that we're moving to the closing. So very integral step in the relocation process, especially if you are purchasing a home, but not one that takes a lot of time. This is truly only a couple days, and then we are at the closing table. And again, the closing is also something that you don't even have to be in person for. So it's not unlikely for us to see somebody that is relocating to the state that is not necessarily quite ready to get here, and they purchase a home, go through inspection, appraisal, walkthrough, closing, everything remotely, and they don't actually even see their home in person for the first time until they're actually moving in and getting to Colorado. So very important step, but one that goes very quickly, and that we're also very happy to step in to make sure that you feel confident throughout the entire process. Step 12 is moving in and actually adjusting to the Colorado life. So while most of it, for me especially, has been sunshine and rainbows, you definitely do want to expect an adjustment period, because you have just completely relocated to a completely different area, and there are a couple things that are going to come along with that. A couple things that people often notice is that the altitude definitely affects you, and you want to be careful with this, because I personally did not believe in altitude sickness until I came to Colorado. I was born in the mountains. I lived at very high elevations, and when I got to Colorado, it's higher elevations, and it kicked my butt, and I got very sick. So definitely know it's a real thing. If you are coming from flatlands, if you're coming from Texas, be prepared, because you might have a little bit of an adjustment period where you're not feeling that hot because of the altitude sickness. We also have a very dry climate, so right now I can feel it. My lips are getting chapped. I'm getting all dry mouthed because we do have a dry climate here. So if you move to Colorado, you're going to find that you develop a new favorite chapstick brand, and that you have it on you at all times. People also do recognize the faster pace of growth, but also a high work-life balance, because we are very quick to all of the nature, all of the outdoors, and everything that is offered, with that being in our backyard. And then people do say a lot about traffic patterns, because there are areas that are just growing very, very, very quickly. So again, that's why you want to make sure that you are working with somebody that can kind of help guide you, that can definitely guide you in the right direction, because there's areas that have traffic, there's areas that have a ton of traffic, there's areas that have no traffic, and then there's areas that don't have a lot of traffic right now, but are expected to get a lot of traffic in the next 5 years. So it's important to prepare, it's important to do your research, and it's important to reach out and get help as well. I do want to note that I'm just so excited for you to move to Colorado, and I'm so excited for life to open up for you, and I'm so excited for you to experience the incredible lifestyle here, and truly what makes Colorado a destination state. And I'm excited to be part of that journey, and I truly hope that it is the most enjoyable experience of your life, and that you're able to just live an absolute increase. And I hope that it becomes as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than the experience that I have had, because it has been an absolute blessing, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I truly hope that you get to experience something like that when you move here. And I'm one of those people that wishes that I would have reached out for help, because we did not. So learn from my mistake, reach out. I'm here to be a resource for you. Again, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I cannot wait to get you here to Colorado. So reach out, The final step is that you want to make sure that you have a local resource that you can trust. Hello, me. And one of the things that I hear a lot, a mistake that people usually think back on and they regret, is they always tell me, Taylor, I really wish that I would have reached out to you, reached out to somebody sooner, because it would have saved me so much time, so much headache, so much stress, and it would have made the whole thing a lot better. And that is so true. Don't do this alone. Don't think that you have to do this alone. Reach out. This is what we do. This is what we love doing. And reminder, I also used to be in your shoes. And so there's been a lot of things that I wish I would have done differently, a lot of things that I've learned. And just know that whether you are months, weeks, or years away from moving to Colorado, I'm here to be a resource for you. And I can't wait to get you here. Okay, until the next one.